Welcome back to redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host Mikey, and in today's tutorial we're going to explore this fabulous Christmas tree, and this is called the Ruffle Fir Trees. Now I've altered the pattern very slightly. I just provided more chains right in the end loops. Instead of chaining a 4 especially in the base area, I chained 8, and then instead of chaining 3 I chained 7, and instead of chaining 2 I chained 6. So I just made mine a little more roughly, or just like so. So if you want something more wild, more exotic possibly, this is the way to go. So it's just a small alteration. I also altered the top very slightly here, and you can see that it's all little components just like this. And so everything that you're seeing on the tree all comes apart in little pieces just like so. And so once you get to a certain element right here, is that you'll notice that all of these particular layers just literally pop off each other, and they're just literally just sitting on top of each other as we go throughout this project. So in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to do one, because once you get the concept it is really quite simple, and it's just a matter of just doing them all and just layering them on top of each other and then putting them back together to form a Christmas tree. So how you work the instructions is that you just simply follow along. So you'll notice that round 1 says work C, which is the color. It says the same as the band 1 of the medium tree. So yeah, all you have to just go look is for the band 1 of the medium tree and just follow the instructions. Do that and then come back to the instructions again, and then just say bands 2 and 3, here's the instructions, they're both the same. And then bands 4 and 5, they're both the same. And then what you have is band 6, and then bands 7 and 8 is the same as bands 5 and 6 on the medium tree. So you're back at the medium again and look for 5 and 6, and you have that. These are really quite simple, because what's happening here is that certain elements of the tree are the exact same size no matter what size of tree that you're working on. So that's why you're jumping around in instructions just like so. So without further ado, let me show you how to do one of these. And what I've also done too, I should mention, is that the top of the tree topper should be like a flat shape, and what I just did is that I just went in the side posts and I just chained 3 and then went into the side post so that the top was nice and roughly, so that you wouldn't have a flat edge. And that, again, that's a personal touch that I did for myself. So I'm just going to grab my Red Heart Super Saver. I used Red Heart with Love for my original. It was a hot pink, and here's how you're going to work the whole thing. So I'm going to show you band number 16 of the large Christmas tree. So once you understand that how this pattern works, you can just simply follow the instructions very easily to make it work for you. So let's create a slip knot, and it says to chain 14. So let's do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. And simply we just have to form a ring. So we're just going to come to the very beginning again and just insert the hook and pull through. Okay, so we've just done an attachment so that you have a permanent interior ring. So let's move along to the next part of band number 16. To begin the round 1, what we just need to do is just chain 1 as what it says. Put the straggler down on top of the line so that you don't have to sew that in afterward, and just simply single crochet yourself into every stitch going all the way around. So we're not adding anything at this point, we're just simply just thickening up the beginning chain. And once you get enough of those like the stragglers in once the stragglers in quite a way, then what you can just do is let it fall down, and you can trim it out afterwards. So if you can bury it now, you just saving yourself being able to hide it later. And you know, we always like to save work at the end. So we're just simply just doing single crochet all the way around, and when we come back I'll show you what to do next. Okay, I'm coming all the way around and I'm going into my very last one, and before I attach it to finish off my round, it says to join, I want to make sure that this whole chain is not twisted. So when I follow it around, I want to make sure that the top here is all the way around on the top. So then I'm just going to join it to the beginning with the slip stitch. Okay, so there should not be any twist within this right now. So let's begin. We're going to do our next round. We're just simply going to chain 1 and then single crochet again once all the way around. Now this is the identical for every one of the rings that you're going to do, all the motifs that you're doing, and then it's going to change then slightly after this particular round. So it's a very easy way to start off each one. It makes it really easy to remember. So I'll meet you back up in just a moment. Okay, and we're coming all the way back around. We just want to join it with the slip stitch. Okay, so let's begin the next process. Now it says chain 1 single crochet in the first 6 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the next, and you're going to want to repeat that. This exists for most of the particular motifs, and what this is doing is it's giving it a lip opening, and it's going to be so subtle, but it actually makes a difference when we get there. So we're going to chain 1, we're going to single crochet so for 1, single crochet for 2, 3, and then 4, 5, and 6, and then what we're going to do is put 2 single crochets in the next. Now I've been doing this pattern enough that I can actually tell you that we're only going to do that one more time, so we're just going to go again. So 1, 2, 3, oops, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then the next one is going to be 2 in there. So what you're just going to do then is that we're not quite at the end, so we're just going to single crochet into the remainder until we get back to the very beginning again, and then just join it with a slip stitch. So what this is doing is it just opened up this last one so that it has more of an opening, and this will make sense in just a few more minutes. Now I'm going to deviate from band number 16 because I realize that there's an element missing that is in most of them, and some of them have this and some of them don't, but most of them do. So what's going to happen, it doesn't say to do this in band 16, but it does say this to do it in every other one. We want to simply just going to chain 1 and then 2, and then we're going to slip stitch into the next. Okay, so 1 and 2 and slip stitch into the next. Okay, 1 and 2 and slip stitch into the next, and you're going to do that all the way around. So maybe band 16 wasn't the best one to begin to show you how to do this, but this is what is happening for most of the element. And what this is doing is it's making the leaves grow out further so that they'll be sticking out, so that it'll be coming further away from the cone. Now why is this not existing in band number 16? The reason for it is that as the tree gets bigger, you'll notice that it has to have a point at the top, and so you'll notice that some of these elements such as this would be missing from the upper layers of the tree. So it's not a big deal, it's just something that just makes the pattern go amazing really. So you're just going to slip stitch and then chain 2 and slip stitch and chain 2 into every one going around, and you can see how it's opening up like a bell shape, and that's because because of this particular stitching technique that we're doing now, but it's also helping the last round that we actually increased by 2 as well as every 6 stitches. Sorry, I'm stumbling a little bit today. So let's continue this, and I'll see you back in just a moment. When you get all the way back around, you're just going to slip stitch again and you're ready to go. Now in most of the layers, except for this layer here of the band 16, and most of the bands, this will also exist, this next part. It doesn't exist in band 16, so just bear with me. And all we're just going to do is that we're going to repeat exactly what we just did, but in this next layer section. So we're just going to slip stitch to the first one and then chain 2 and then slip stitch into the next chain 2 gapping space. Most of the motifs have this. So in actual fact what you're seeing here is that there's 2 layers of this slip stitching and chaining 2 in most of the motifs, especially in the large one that I did. And what this is going to do is going to open it up even further, and you can see it's actually flattening itself out, and that's exactly what you need for the tree. So when this is going down on the cone, you can see that this will be the top of the cone up here, and it will just kind of sit down on top of it. So continue to slip stitch and chain 2 all the way around, and when we come back I'll show you the final revolution that exists on all of them as well. Okay, once you get all the way back around, just slip stitch into the beginning, and we're ready to go for the next. So let's begin, and I'm going to show you the technique that I used. I'm going to also tell you the pattern as well. So you'll notice that in the instructions here it will say that it's single, in the band 16 it says single crochet, chain 3 single crochet, and you'll notice that in the original that the tree is more refined. Mine is a little more hairy really. It's kind of neat. So what I want to do is that I want to chain up 1 first, and then I'm going to single crochet into the same gap space. So then if you follow the instructions in band 16, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and just single crochet back into the same space. And now you're creating the outside leaves. So we're going to come to the next space, single crochet, and then 1, 2, and 3. okay, and then coming back in. So this is where I altered the pattern, because you can see it's going to be a lot more refined than mine is. So what I want to do is that I single crocheted, and especially on the bottom layers, whenever it said to chain 4, I chained 8, so I doubled it. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8, okay, and I came back in. See the difference is, so you got a really refined here, but then I made it really kind of hairy-carry. And then when I had to chain 3, it said to chain 3, I chained 7, and when it said to chain 2, I chained actually 6. So it's just a matter of just finding your rhythm. How hairy-carry do you really want it? That's really up to your personal creativity. I think this tree has a lot of opportunity for you being able to really express your creativity and explore it. And then of course once you're done, you can also decorate it with either beads or kind of ribbons or even other kinds of yarns that you wish, and really it just becomes a lot of fun. So this is how you would simply do a component, and this is kind of a mismatch of all the different bands, but the instructions are simply very easy to follow. So if you're just looking at it here, it says to round 1, so you have chain 28, join like I showed you with the ring, chain 1, single crochet all the way around, round 2, chain 1, single crochet all the way around, and then chain 3. Okay, so we're gonna grow it by a bit, so we're gonna chain 1, single crochet into the first 6, and then 2 single crochets into the next. Okay, we've done that before, and so that exists in that round. And then this one is round 4, and we're going to do chain 2, slip stitch into the next and repeat. So it's chain 2, slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch, and then basically round 5 is the same thing, slip stitch into the next, chain 2, slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch, just like you've already seen. And then round number 6 is the final, so slip stitch into the chain 2 space, chain 1, and single crochet, chain 4, single crochet into each of the chain 2 spaces. So this for me, when I had chain 4, I actually chained 8 so that I could have the really hairy-carry look, and that was just something that I wanted for myself. So hopefully this will help you understand the instructions. Once you get all of the ones done, I've made sure that when I did this, I placed them all in order, so that I never lost which ones are out of order, especially the bottom ones. They're actually very close to each other, but they're slightly different. So you just want to make sure that you're keeping yourself organized. And at the end, when you put them on the cone, you don't want to jam them down on the cone. You just want to rest them easily on top of each other, and then you can adjust later at the end. And basically the tree topper is the very final thing, and it's just a really easy easy peasy, no brainer. Just follow the instructions and it will work out perfectly. So hopefully this is an understanding of the fur trees provided by redheart.com, and join me next time for more fruit patterns and ideas. I'm your host, Mikey.